As everything we have said above demonstrate, imagination is an extremely complex process. It is this complexity that is primarily responsible for how difficult it is to study the process of creation, and that often leads to incorrect ideas about this process being something extraordinary and completely exceptional. It is not our task here to provide a full description of the components of this process. That would require a very long psychological analysis that would not interest us here. However, in order to give readers some picture of the complexity of this activity, we will touch very briefly on certain process components. Every act of the imagination has a very long history. What we call the act of creation is typically only the climatic moment of a birth that occurs as a result of a very long internal process of gestation and fetal development. At the very start of this process, as we already know, there is always a perception of the external and internal, which is the basis of our experience. What the child sees and hears does provide the first points of support for his future creation. He accumulates materials out of which he will subsequently construct his fantasies. Next comes a very complex process of reworking this material. The most important components of this process are dissociation and association of the impressions acquired through perception. Every impression is a complex whole consisting of a number of separate parts. Dissociation is the breakup of a complex whole into a set of individual parts. Certain individual parts are isolated from the background of others, some are retained and others are forgotten. Dissociation is thus a necessary condition for further operation of the imagination. In order to subsequently join together the various elements, a person must first break the natural association of elements in which they were initially perceived.